You know, if I'm asked, Raj, where do you see yourself 20, 30 years from now? I'm not going to say CEO of Apple, Google.com/eBay or whatever. I think of that question a little differently, more from a perspective of life, actually from the perspective of living. Let me create a little image in your mind, if I may. You come home from a long day at work, you're tired, you grab the handrail, make yourself up to your room, and you want to just take off your shoes and just lie down on your bed. So you do that. Forgot to pull up my sheet, all right. Actually, it's so cold. Let me just close the window here. Too much light, close this curtain. Get back down. I'm bored. Grab my phone, look for music. Wrong album. Where's that song I like? Ah, forget it. Take a rest, start to dream a little bit. I'm on the beach. And you get up. Several things are happening. You're thirsty. You're hungry. It's hot in here. The bed's not comfortable. So many notifications on my phone. And that music just never worked. Is this the way we want to see our homes of the future? Is that how we want to live? We got to think well beyond that. Becerra says that the Internet of Things is really changing the way that we're going to live. It's disrupting the current home as we know it. We all know that virtual reality is really changing our entertainment experience. And artificial intelligence will allow us to have things always done automatically without us having to perform a search or submit a command. That's why it's important to look at the issue of the smart home a little bit deeper. I was sitting in my class at Oxford and the professor says, well, your fridge is going to know that you're out of milk and automatically order it for you. So in addition to all those detectors and sensors that are necessary to make this happen for all of us, there's more that we have to think about, all the way from that happening to the delivery and everything in between. And all of this has to happen securely. And now, Stanford and others are testing out drones for purposes of global delivery. Just look at Amazon Prime Air and some of the other cool things that are happening. Like I tell my students, marketing has a lot to do with this. In terms of the different mechanisms that we need to make all of this happen, we need to make sure that we're able to incorporate value. So that's why marketing gurus like Kotler, from right here at Northwestern, say that the aim of marketing is to create value. So what do we need to do to get there? We need to engage with the value creation process early on. The only problem is that everybody wants something different. Customization is something that marketers try to do, but it's very difficult because I might want something, you might want something, and you might want something else. And that becomes a big problem. So we also have to look at how customization can change in the future and almost be an automatic engagement. And that's something we're going to look at briefly. Let's take a moment to think about what our homes might look like in the future, in say about 2050. We'll all be sort of like Iron Man and have our virtual screens. Just picture that virtual screen in the air, and all of your daily activities that you're doing at home and elsewhere will be conducted through this screen. We'll be able to manage all kinds of our activities all through the screen, including starting with the bedroom. There are already smart beds out there, but we need to build on some of the concepts that are out there now. For example, our smart beds will recognize us. It will know us. It will adjust the contour of the mattress according to our shape, our weight, our body, and other personal preferences. Also, we all know about visual and video entertainment. All of these are starting to be built in the new smart beds. But let's think beyond that. Let's also incorporate some of the nasal entertainment functionality that might be available. For example, we're watching a video, why not engage with the various smell that can emanate from the things that we're watching or hearing? All of these can be incorporated into our beds. Add to that a smart pillow, like those being made by Nabox and some others. These can take various sleep quality measurements and other kinds of measurements that will certainly allow us to match those up with what might be ideal. Ideal in the sense of what our doctors might think are the right numbers for us, your e-doctor, that is. Also, we have to consider that we have so many different possibilities. We don't need to actually go all the way downstairs to get ourselves a drink or some food. These can be built in to our beds. If you go to Burger King right now, one machine can dispense hundreds of drink possibilities. We can build those kinds of things into our smart beds. And then you're lying down on your bed, it's all comfortable, everything is happening all automatically. So what do? We're bored again. We grab our phones. We get onto social media. We want to be updated. We look at our phones, who's eating, who's sleeping, who's working, who's taking a crap, all that stuff. We're all updated. And in the future, we're not going to be just sending messages to each other, sending a pic, sending a video, all of that stuff. We're going to be able to look at our friends in virtual reality. So some of this stuff we already see through video games, but we'll actually be able to beam ourselves in to our friends' rooms and be able to talk to them. We'll manage our virtual personal reality space. In other words, you're moving, your virtual self is moving. And you move your hands, you move your legs, our virtual self is actually doing what we are actually doing. Now don't worry, you don't need to run down the street in order to make this happen. You can stand right where you are and all of that will take care of itself. The other thing is we may not need clothes anymore. We'll have to take off all our clothes. Don't do it now. I'm talking about 30 years from now. We'll be in a situation where we'll be able to adapt to smart clothes. Smart clothes will be projected onto us, just like you see in the Jetsons and stuff like that, whereas you can move throughout your house, through the different rooms in your house, and according to where you are and according to the situation, smart clothes will be projected onto you. So you have guests over, you're in the living room, you'll have smart clothes projected, the relevant ones onto you. In the kitchen, you'll have an apron. You go to your bedroom, well, automatic pajamas. So all of this will kind of revolutionize the way we will be living, room to room. And don't worry if the Wi-Fi goes out. We'll have thin bodysuits on just in case. Now remember we were hungry a little while ago? Well, just tell your 3D printer and it'll print the food that you want to eat. Now we already have that now on a small scale level, but as I said, creating value means making sure that all customers or many customers or consumers are able to partake in some of these innovations. And not only will we have a 3D printer printing our food for us, but we can manage that so it knows when we're coming home and food will be ready when we get there. Not only that, it will be delivered to wherever in the house you feel like having that food. So drone-like flat trays will fly out and deliver your food to you. You have any diet restrictions, medical restrictions? I mean, we all have certain taste preferences. So all of that can be built in, as we see some reports talking about online. They'll all be built into our 3D food printers. So all of this will happen automatically. Can you imagine a printer automatically fulfilling our needs? Even our spouses can't really do that now. Don't think of that too deeply. We're talking about a kitchen. In addition to that, there will probably be no need to have specific bedrooms in our houses. By employing smart walls, we'll be able to have as many bedrooms as we want at any given time. So let's say you invite a lot of people over. Where do you entertain them? Some will be in this room, some in that room, and some outside. But what if you want to have an announcement, a discussion of some kind? That's very hard to do. So you'll just move your smart walls or take them all away for that moment, and then you want to have everybody gather again in their rooms? Well, erect the smart walls again. So there's no physical walls necessary, and you can have a home with entire floor space and adjust it as you need it, and customize that regularly. Also, everybody's gone home now, and you're bored. We do get bored a lot. So what do? Watch a movie, stream something. Why not take a vacation? Well, that could cost money. You might not have time. Why not take a vacation for a couple hours virtually? You'll see reports online talking a lot about virtual vacations, which are building on some of the VR tours that you see of the national parks and even advertising building on all of the virtual reality. But in the future, we'll be able to go anywhere we feel like it. We'll lie down on the beach. You can take a swing in the hammock, swim in the pristine waters, do all of that stuff virtually. And you can book that right from your smart screen. Also, I think to add to that, a good idea would be that we be able to taste the local food. So how do we do that piece? Well, you order it up, and your 3D printer will print and bring that to you while you're on your virtual vacation. So a lot of things can happen. Now, you've eaten too much of that local food, and your stomach is hurting. So you have to go to the bathroom, toilet, washroom, restroom, whatever you want to call it. And I know what you're thinking. This room will not have smart walls. In addition to the smart toilet auto-cleaning itself, it'll also, as some of the toilets are now starting to do, conduct medical tests. So it'll conduct tests such as urine tests or constipation relief tests and all of that stuff. And I think we should link the toilet to your 3D food printer. And I don't mean the physical stuff. I'm talking more about the measurements and testing that it's doing. If we link your medical test to your 3D food printer and it senses that you have a serious stomach problem that day, then your evening meal will be adjusted accordingly. And in addition to all of the good value stuff, as a lawyer, I also think about the legal issues in these kinds of technologies. And I think it's important for us to think of those and build them in to these new innovations right from the beginning. Two things that come to mind in addition to what we talked about are privacy and security. Privacy on the legal angle and security on the technical angle. And the best definition I could find for privacy and security were privacy is tracking and security is hacking. And these are things that we should also be able to customize. Since we're thinking about customizing the way we're going to live in the future, we should also consider that we should be able to customize the privacy that we are looking for. A Balfour Beatty report says the more we look for customization, the more that privacy and security become a problem. So that might change for us. We might want to have a good level of privacy, but not for everything, not for every part of our home, let's say. And maybe today, we feel like being less private in some instances. So why not have that customized throughout the whole house? And it's up to us. We don't just turn off and turn on privacy. We do that on an individual service basis throughout our homes. Overall, the smart home of 2050 will be very adaptive, very customized to the way that we want it to be, the way that you want it to be, the way that we all want it to be, without the need to customize a specific product for all of us. So today, what do? We shout, Alexa, Alexa, and it kind of does what we want it to do. But I think we need to think a little bit differently from that approach. Even if that means that we have to think upside down, then we do so. And we're going to have Alexa follow what Nike has been saying all along and just do it. I'll see you in the future.